Steven Cureño, CRAWFORD Sports, right here with the one and only David Benavidez. Appreciate you, man, playing the game. What did it taste like, the jelly bean?
It tasted like shit. It was a stinky bug. I've never tasted stinky bug before, but it wasn't pleasant, man. It was nasty.
Not trying to have it again? Right. I appreciate you playing, man. Thanks. Man, we're here in camp, Uzcategui one more time. You know, you got COVID. How were the symptoms for you? Did you kind of go through it a little bit? Was you kind of one of the people that just tested positive, didn't even know what was going on?
No, I definitely knew I had COVID before I tested for it. It's like a really bad flu, you know what I mean? Especially when I had finished. Thank God I didn't pass it to anybody else, because that day I felt a little tired when I woke up, but I thought it was just from being sore and, you know, training camp, you know, it's 2 weeks left to the fight. So I sparred. I think I did like 13 rounds, and right after I felt dead, bro. My body was aching, all that, and you know, I had hope that I didn't have it, but I went to go test myself, and I came up positive, like in 3 different tests from the Walgreens test, and yeah, for the first week, bro, I felt horrible. I felt like death, you know. I was having shortness of breath, and my body was just hurting. I was really fatigued, and so it took me out for like about 2.5 weeks. But after that, I started running again, and I was a little bit out of breath the first week, but, you know, we kept pushing, kept working, and I don't feel any lingering symptoms anymore. I feel good. I've been running 6-7 miles. I think the most miles I've ran in one running was like about 9 miles, so 13 rounds of sparring, so we're back to where we're at, you know, and I feel like because the camp was extended, it gave me a little bit more time to polish up my tools and my craft. So I feel like I'm gonna do even better than how I was gonna do my original date.
Man, which is dangerous, bro, because you were already looking dangerous before. I was here, like, I want to say a week or 2 before the announcement came on. About how long did it take you to kind of feel like, okay, like my lungs are back, I'm like, you know, kind of 100%, like I'm over it?
Probably like a month and a half after. It took me a long time, and it didn't really take me a long time. It's just like, you just got to be strong. You know, you just got to push through it. I mean, obviously, it took me a while to return and to get back, but, you know, in my head, I felt like I was good, you know, and just as you keep telling yourself you're good, you know, everything's going to be good, so we pushed through it.
That's excellent, bro. I'm glad everything turned out okay. I know you're a new dad, brother. It's awesome seeing your kid on your IG stories. I saw him like shadow boxing, watching you fight. Talk about that, man, and just how like becoming a dad has changed the motivation, has just kind of changed the mentality in the fight game.
It's definitely more motivation, because I'm not only doing it for myself anymore. I have somebody who looks up to me. You know, my son. I know he's gonna want to be like me when I get older, so I got to be an example. And I think the best example I could give them is to work as hard as you can. You know, nothing is given out for free, and there's always going to be people that want it as bad as you, or even want it even more. But, you know, you always got to work hard. You always got to push the issue, work as hard as you can, and go and get stuff for yourself, because nothing's given. Nothing's ever been given to me, and I feel like that's made me a stronger person. You know, I wasn't really the first pick to get signed when I was a little kid, or I wasn't the best out of the group, but I worked my way up to the top, and I carved my own path, you know, and my son motivates me every time I get tired, every time, you know, I feel like giving up. I just look at my son and his smile, and, you know, it brings joy to my heart, and it makes me want to work that much harder to give him everything I didn't have when I was a little kid.
That's beautiful, brother. And you're doing it, man, headlining in Arizona, where, you know, hometown back in the day where you're from. Jose Uzcategui. Uzcategui hasn't been stopped. I know you've talked about that being a goal of yours. Is it, like, how do you balance that, right? Like getting the win, you know, not obviously being over anxious and possibly getting caught, but also still making the statement that you want to make. How do you balance that?
I just feel like it's always going to be the same way. I'm going to fight the way I spar. You know, I'm always go in there trying to make a statement. And it's not because, you know, it's because of somebody else. It's just because how I want that fight, how I want to leave that fight feeling. You know what I mean? I want them to be no doubt. And, you know, every time I fight somebody that they say that, no, it's going to be different, they're going to do this, they're going to do that to me. And every time I end up leaving the fight, they tell me, you're the best, champ. So, I mean, just for myself, and this is the way I was brought up, this is the way I fight. It's always been like that. Since I could basically say that the way I fight reflects my life. You know, I always have to fight my way to the top, and I don't just get the respect. The respect isn't given to me. I go and get it. You know, so Jose Uzcategui is the same way. You know, he's a strong fighter. He's never been knocked out. He's been dropped a couple times, so that's why I see that I could stop him, you know. And just only that just builds to my confidence too. When I go in there and I knock these people out that've never been knocked out. I stop people that've never been stopped. That's just the type of fighter I want to end. And that's the type of impact I want to make in my career. Like this guy, he was definitely no joke. He's definitely one of the best.
Definitely, man. One guy who had the opportunity to stop Uskatagi, Caleb Plant. Like you said, he didn't do it. I want to say he dropped him in the fight. That fight's coming up a week before your fight. What did you take from the Canelo and Caleb Plant's little scuffle at the press conferences? And as a fighter, does that something you take in the ring with you?
I feel like this is a fighter that's gotten into the head more than anybody in Canelo. But it's because this is the type of fighter that, you know, just that annoying shit that Caleb Plant does. Like, he'll see you from afar and then he'll stare at you like he really wants to get down. Like, you know what I mean? And he's not that type of person. It's all for show. But, you know, if I was in the same, I probably would have done the same shit if I was Canelo. You know what I mean? We've gone to situations like that with that dude. And, I mean, just him talking all that shit, I mean, this is bound to happen. You know what I mean? And now the thing that I'm sad about is that Canelo gets to knock him out first before I do. But, you know, I'll still, you know, get his seconds, you know? So it don't matter to me. So as long as I get that fight.
What did you? I know you've picked Canelo to win that fight. I feel like you don't even think it's gonna be competitive. Why is that? Why do you?
You know, actually, I feel like it's gonna be a competitive fight. I feel like it's gonna be a competitive fight because Caleb Plant, he does good for the first couple rounds, but I feel like we just have to see how he does with, you know, a body puncher like Canelo or a person that puts that much pressure on him. But then too, you know, Caleb Plant is, I'm not gonna be biased. I'm not gonna lie. He's a sharp fighter. You know, he has good movement. And I want to see how Canelo holds up with a fighter like that. I mean, obviously, the stronger and the more experienced fighter is Canelo. And I think Caleb Plant will do good for the first couple rounds, but I don't think he has the power to keep Canelo off of him and keep Canelo's pressure off of him. I feel like with Canelo, the only person that's been able to keep him off, the only person been able to keep Canelo off of him is Golovkin. Is because he stood there and he stood his ground, and he's a strong fighter. The past couple fighters that he's fought, they don't go to the body, they don't use their jab, or they're just trying to survive, you know what I mean? So I feel like for you to beat Canelo is you got to have the same amount of power as him, or possibly more, and mix it up a little bit, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like I have so much confidence in myself, because I was working with Golovkin for 4 or 5 years, you know, and I've had great sparring sessions with him. And you know what I mean? So I feel like out of all the people that Canelo's fought, he hasn't fought anybody like me in a while, you know, with power, speed, combinations. You know, I do everything good. So, I mean, I feel like with Caleb Plant, he doesn't have that power and that pop to keep Canelo off of him.
I feel like just even listening to you right now, you're downloading information on Canelo. It's you're kind of seeing what he does well, what makes him uncomfortable, things like that. How confident are you? I want to say this is WBC eliminator, right?
It's a WBC and IBF title.
IBF.
Yeah.
How confident are you that after this, that's the fight? Because WBC has made Canelo a franchise champion before. IBF maybe not so much, but are you pretty confident that if given a victory against Uskatagi, that you can, you know, put in for the mandatory and it'll happen with Canelo? You
know what? I just got to wait and see what happens. I got to take care of this fight first, but I don't know. I can't say I'm 100%. That's the fight that's gonna happen. That I'm 100% confident it's gonna happen, because there's been a lot of things that happened before, but I don't know, man. My job is just to go in there. This is my second title eliminator. You know, I've never even heard anybody else has fought 2 title eliminators back to back. You know, right. So I got to go in there, do what I got to do. But I'm confident in whatever opponent I get next. If I get Canelo, I'm going to be victorious with whoever I go in the ring with.
You're someone I've been wanting to ask this question to, because it directly affected you. You know, Oscar Valdez had that issue with the diuretic or whatever it was, like leading up to his fight, was still able to fight, kept the WBC belt. You know, you had that at a competition positive test. You got stripped. What's your take on that? And have you had any discussions with the WBC on any of that?
No, I'm not. I'll just let it be what it's going to be. You know, I feel like I don't want to speak on it, but I have to, because Oscar Valdez is a cool dude and I know him. But I feel like for the WBC, they gotta treat everybody the same, especially when you have a fight 2 weeks out. You know, and you don't even find somebody. I mean, I understand if they would have fined him, but they didn't find him, they didn't strip him, they didn't do nothing. And for my fight, it was just, I mean, I should have been doing it myself anyway, so I'm not trying to give myself a pass or nothing, but I didn't even have a fight scheduled or nothing. So, and I got fined, and I got stripped. So, I mean, I feel like if you just got to be fair 100% to everybody. Everybody has to be treated the same.
Right. No, I agree with you, brother. Big fight. Just want to get your take on Crawford Porter happening a week after your fight. November's jam-packed, man, with big fights. Break down that fight for me. How does that play out?
Great fight. I feel like Porter might give him. He's going to give him a great fight. He is going to give him a great fight because Porter gives everybody great fights. You see his track record: Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Earl Spence, Ugas. He's giving them all of them great fights. So I feel like it's not going to be something. Terrence Crawford is going to be something different that Porter hasn't seen. I feel like, Terrence Crawford is definitely going to be sharp because he's always sharp, but I think Porter, he likes to, the pressure he's going to put, he's going to disturb Crawford a little bit, but it's going to be a great fight. I don't know who's going to win that fight. And then also you got, what's his name, Camboso and
Cambosos and Lopez.
Teofimo. Right. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a good fight too. I'm excited to see how that fight plays out. But yeah, man, like you said, November's packed with good fights. And then you got December 5th, you got Rolly versus Javonte Davis. That's going to be a great fight. I'm excited to see that one.
How does that play out?
Fuck, I think Javonte wins by knockout. I wish Rolly all the best luck because I know him, but he's gotten a little salty since my teammate Raul called him out, and I don't know, he got kind of mad. He's throwing shots at me too. I had nothing to do with that. Just because Raul calls you out, it's at the end of the day, it's competition, bro. Like, you got to see it. Like, obviously we make friends along the way, but the main objective is to beat anybody in the way. Mm-hmm. And just because somebody's in the way, I mean, like I said, we got Surdo Ramirez here, and we could possibly fight, but me and him, we're still cool friends. I mean, if we fight, we keep it professional. But a lot of these dudes, they get their feelings hurt because you call them out because you're in the same road, or you want the same as them. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wish Rolly the best luck, but I don't think he's going to win the fight.
Right. Tyson Fury had a incredible victory, one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever been in attendance for. What do you think about that? And looking forward, how do you think he plays against Usyk?
I think the thing about Tyson Fury, bro, I don't see anybody beating him, especially I think Usyk. The thing about it is Tyson Fury, he outweighs everybody like 60, 70 pounds. And that's a lot of weight, bro, especially when you put your weight on top of him, you're getting them in headlocks and you're talented. Right. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's found a way to use everything to his advantage. I mean, I think Usyk, he would give him a good fight, but you got somebody putting 70 pounds on you, bro. That takes a big toll out of you. But I mean, I definitely would love to see it. I think those two are both the most technical fighters in the heavyweight division, I think, in history. So it'd be a great fight. What I would want to see again, to be honest with you, is first is I would love to see Deontay Wilder versus what is his name, Anthony Joshua, because I think when Wilder fights somebody that doesn't outweigh him that much, then that's when the real beast comes out. His right hand. He dropped Tyson Fury too, but what I would like to see Wilder do is jab a little bit more. Like when he started the fight with Tyson Fury, the third one, he was jabbing to the body, but then you forget about the jab, and that's when Tyson Fury was able to implement that, put the weight on him and fighting on the inside. So I would love to see Joshua fight Deontay Wilder, and then I would love to see Klitschko fight Fury again, man. Honestly, I would love to see a second fight.
You think Klitschko can make a comeback?
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. He's one of the best heavyweights to ever do it. So I mean, and then there's so much other heavyweight fighters. There's Frank Sanchez. You look phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Frank Sanchez is a great fighter. You got that one kid too. What's his name? You got Joe Joyce. Joyce is a beast. And then Dubois, I think that's his name. There's a lot of great fighters, man. So, like I said, this generation of boxing is super hot right now. There's a lot of great fights to be made, and there's a lot of great fights to be seen for the fans, man.
Definitely, man. Well, November 13th, a great fight on Showtime. The homecoming, David Benavidez versus Jose Uskatagi. Thank you, brother, for your time, man. Best of luck, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.